Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on three comedies. What? The Family McMullen, Son of a Donkey, and Is This Thing On? From Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. The Family McMullen by Ed Burns. I think it's a sequel to The Brothers McMullen. I'm not sure. Seems like a nice, wholesome family comedy. Ed Burns' two kids come back to live with him at the same time. The girl breaks up with her boyfriend, longtime boyfriend, and the son has just quit his job. And they find new romance. Everybody's finding romance and finding people. And it just seems very light and nice. So, first act, October 18th, by the way. First act, the girlfriend or the sister breaks up with her boyfriend, moves back home because her boyfriend wanted some sort of trial separation. Written and directed by Ed Burns. The son is already there because he just quit his job for some reason. I'm not sure why. And Ed Burns tells them he specifically bought the house so it'd be sort of like a family place to gather for the holidays, but now he's got his kids living back under his roof, and I think his brother lives there too. So they move back in, and they don't get along at first, and then the brother meets a girl, falls in love. The girl re-meets the boy she kissed, first boy she ever kissed. And she reconnects with him, starts dating him. Turns out Ed Burns used to date the mother of the girl that his son is dating. He reconnects with her. The other brother gets a date. Everybody's getting a date in this. So it just seems very wholesome and nice, It doesn't seem particularly funny. It'll be more amusing than funny, kind of like, feel the love. Feel the love. Little quirky family things. I don't know. It's not my kind of comedy, really. It's a sort of movie, if you had it on, I wouldn't be upset. But if I had to walk out in the middle of it, I wouldn't care. Here's the write-up. 30 years after, so it's a sequel. The Brothers McMullen wowed audiences with its exploration of the lives and struggles of three Irish-American brothers from New York. The family returns in a long-awaited follow-up. The Family McMullen. As with the original, The Family McMullen is an ensemble comedy written and directed by Burns. It sort of barely tracks as a comedy, but it's fine. The new film tracks the romantic entanglements of now 50-something Barry McMullen Burns and his 20-something kids, as well as his brother Patrick and widowed sister-in-law Molly. Oh, okay, so the third brother died, I guess, who are facing unexpected romantic hurdles. And I thought maybe she was a cousin or sister. So she is a widowed person. So she finds romance too. So it's nice and wholesome. I mean, this would be the kind of comedy you could watch with your family. And I don't think anybody would be uncomfortable. You'd all be very amused. Totally harmless. All right, next up. Son of a Donkey. This is a sketch show on Netflix. I think the two main guys are English, but this guy's accent's weird. I can't quite place it. He's speaking English. Gets in one scenario, he gets his car repossessed and he has to get a job. I think they play multiple characters. This is a guy in drag. I'm not sure if it's his mom or his girlfriend, and So all sorts of wacky scenarios with characters that are vulgar and crazy. I'm not quite getting it. It's hard to understand them. There's lots of chaos here. The wife or the girlfriend gets a bunch of plastic surgery, and the response is, no, well, now we need a bigger toilet. Here's his therapist. Not sure why they call it Son of a Donkey. It looks wacky, I suppose. October 30th. Kind of an odd time to launch a comedy show, but it's on Netflix, so I don't know. Maybe I'd check it out. It doesn't look particularly funny. Here's the write-up. Adulthood is tough, especially when your family is crazy, work is a nightmare, and rage issues land you in court-ordered therapy. Son of a Donkey premieres October 30th. Theo comes up with chaotic schemes to save his impounded car. Meanwhile, his dying dad will stop at nothing to find himself a new kidney. Okay. Maybe. Maybe I'd watch it. Finally, there's Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett's Is This Thing On? Looks kind of like another version of Punchline, if you remember that, for Tom Hanks, about a guy who decides to do stand-up comedy. And Will Arnett is the stand-up comic. He's getting divorced from Laura Dern. And he's kind of bummed out, so he uses stand-up comedy to kind of bring himself back. He's got 2 kids. But he may win Laura Dern back. I'm not sure. Kind of seems like he does towards the end, maybe. Only in theaters in December. Feels like more of a drama than a comedy. I love Will Arnett. He's very funny. But here he seems... And Bradley Cooper, I believe, is directing it. Let's see. 99% chance, I think, Bradley's directing it. And he's in it as well. Yeah, director Bradley Cooper. As their marriage unravels, Alex faces middle age and divorce, seeking new purpose in the New York comedy scene. Meanwhile, his wife Tess confronts sacrifices made for their family, forcing them to navigate co-parenting and identities. Yeah, it doesn't sound very funny. Directed by Bradley Cooper, writers Will Arnett. Well, that's hopeful. John Bishop and Mark Chappell. It does look very serious, though. Very serious. Except for Bradley Cooper appears to have some role in it and looks very wacky in the role. So you got elements of Louis C.K.'s TV show, and, you know, I'm not really seeing much new here. And this is coming from somebody who did Miserable Comedians webcomic. Yeah, there's Bradley Cooper. Yeah, he's in the cast list. So, I don't know. First act, he's getting divorced, and he goes to the Comedy Cellar open mic night to do stand-up to get back on his feet. And he starts doing it, and at first he's terrible at it, but he gets something out of it, and then he gets kind of good at it. And then maybe it sort of mirrors his life. You know, as his life is miserable, maybe he gets better at comedy. I wrote a screenplay very similar to that. It was called The Angry Comic, where the angrier the guy got, the funnier it got, but as his life got easier, his comedy suffered. So it might be something like that, only more subtle. Mine was a little more blatant. And more leaning into comedy. This is leaning into the drama, so it's really not a comedy. I think it's about comedy. And there's a reason I called my webcomic Miserable Comedians, because I met a lot of stand-up guys over the years, and they tend to be pretty miserable people. So, not very happy souls. So I think it delves more into that. And then the comedy's just sort of a little bit icing on the cake. It's not It's not really the main thing, and I don't think it'll be that funny because of the way it's being shot. And weirdly enough, Will Arnett's whole look and feel feels like Bradley Cooper. It feels like a movie that was written for Bradley Cooper, but Will Arnett is stepping into the role. But again, Will Arnett's very funny. He co-wrote it, so maybe this could be very good. So how to rank these? Oh boy. Is this thing on Son of a Donkey and Family McMullen? I had to put Family McMullen on the bottom. The only reason is it just looks like it'll, like I said, I could walk in and out of this. I didn't see the first movie. Not that you really need to. It looks fine. It looks wholesome. But that can bore me. It's nice that it's made. I think it's it's the kind of movie that when I was watching movies, I couldn't even finish it. I would just watch it in pieces over the course of, as I encountered it again. And then eventually I'd watch enough of it. It's like, oh, all right, let me watch the rest, see how it ended. But I don't feel any tension in this movie whatsoever. But that's sometimes a nice change. I'm not knocking it. It looks well made. If somebody wanted to watch it, I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch it. Number 2 would probably be Son of a Donkey. Now, I'd be more likely to at least watch the first episode. It's not wowing me, but it is an attempt at straight up comedy. So, and these are all very close choices, by the way. I'd just as soon dismiss this out of hand. I'd give it about 10 minutes. If it wasn't funny within about 10 minutes, I'd probably just shut it off and never think about it again. But since it's, straight up comedy, I'd be more likely to watch it. And finally, is this thing on? Now, if it was just Bradley Cooper and some other actor, I wouldn't even give it a second thought. I would say no. But because I'm willing to give Will Arnett a chance, because he has done a lot of funny stuff in the past, and I feel like Will Arnett, never really got his comedy due. A little bit in Arrested Development. He's very funny in that role. He was in another movie, I think with Kevin Hart, where he's in prison. That wasn't bad. But he's a funny guy. He should be in funny movies. I don't think this is going to be particularly funny. I think it's going to be, all the high points are going to be dramatic, but I might give it a chance just because Will Arnett wrote it and or co-wrote it, so it could be really funny. But I would keep my expectations low on this. And again, it's a pretty close call between the three movies. I have about as much interest in all three of them. So, and it's just that I would be more likely to watch to the end of this. Simply because, it's a kind of character I can relate to too, because I did stand up and open mic nights, and so I kind of understand that world a little bit. Bradley Cooper hopefully gets better as a director and doesn't chew up the scenery too much when he makes his cameo. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. I will be Saturday at the Collingswood Book Fest from 10 to 4. It's going to be a nice day. And then I'm driving to Hamilton to do Halloween on Horton Street. That's going to be about 6 to 10. 6 to 10. Then on Sunday, I'm getting up and I'm going to Zed's Brewery at 2 for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. So it's going to be a big weekend. Hope to see you there. See you in the next one.